Reb Berurach, Sword of the Spirit, narrated and interpreted by Wendy. Zechariah. Chapter 1. In the 8th month of the 2nd year of Dariush, the word of Yehu came to Zechariah, the son of Barak Yehu, the son of Aida, the prophet, saying, Yehu has been very displeased with your fathers. Therefore say to them, Thus saith Yehu of hosts, Turn to me, saith Yehu of hosts, and I will turn to you, saith Yehu of hosts. Do not be like your fathers, to whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith Yehu of hosts. Now turn from your evil ways, and from your evil doings. But they did not hear, nor hearken to me, saith Yehu. Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? By my words and my customs, which I commanded my servants the prophets, they did not take hold of your fathers. Therefore they returned and said, Just as Yehu of hosts thought to do to us, according to our ways, and according to our doings, so too he has dealt with us. Upon the 24th of the 11th month, which is the month of Sebat, during the 2nd year of Dariush, the word of Yehu came to Zechariah, the son of Barak Yehu, the son of Aida the prophet, saying, I saw by night, and behold, a man rode upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him there were horses, red, speckled, and white. Then I said, O Adonai, what are these? And the angel who talked with me said to me, I will show you what these are. And the man who stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are those who Yehu has sent to walk to and fro through the earth. And they answered the angel of Yehu, who stood among the myrtle trees, and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sits still, and is at rest. Then the angel of Yehu answered and said, O Yehu of hosts, how long will you not have mercy upon Jerusalem and on the cities of Yehudah, against which you have indignation these 70 years? Therefore Yehu answered the angel who talked with him good and comforting words. So the angel who communed with him said to me, Call, saying, Thus saith Yehu of hosts, I am zealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great zeal, and I am very displeased with the nation that is at ease. For I was only a little displeased, and they helped the affliction. Therefore, thus saith Yehu, I have returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house will be built in it, saith Yehu of hosts, and a line will be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. Still declare, saying, Thus saith Yehu of hosts, my cities will still be spread abroad by prosperity, and Yehu will still comfort Zion, and still choose Jerusalem. Then I lifted up my eyes, and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said to the angel who talked with me, What are these? And he answered me, These are the horns that have scattered Yehudah, Yisrael, and Jerusalem. Moreover, Yehu showed me 4 workmen. Then I said, What are these coming to do? And he spoke, saying, These are the horns that have scattered Yehudah, so that no man could lift up his head. But these have come to shake them, to cast out the horns of the nations, which has lifted up their horn over against the land of Yehudah, to scatter it. Chapter 2. I lifted up my eyes again, and looked, and beheld a man with a measuring line in his hand. Then I said, Where are you going? And he said to me, To measure Jerusalem, to see what is its width, and what is its length. And behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him. And I said to him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem will be inhabited as towns without walls, for the multitude of Adam and livestock in it. For I, saith Yahweh, will be a wall of fire around her, and will be a glory in the midst of her. Woe, woe, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, saith Yahweh, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heavens, saith Yahweh. Deliver yourself, O Zion, who dwells with the daughter of Babel, for thus saith Yahweh of hosts, After the glory I will send to the nations that plundered you, for he who touches you touches his eyelid. And behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they will become a plunder for their servants. Then you will know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of you, saith Yahweh. And many nations will be joined unto Yahweh during that day, and will be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of you, and you will know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me to you. And Yahweh will inherit Yehudah, his portion in the holy Adamah, and will choose Jerusalem again. Be silent, O my flesh, before Yahweh, for he has raised up out of his holy habitation. Be silent, all flesh, before Yahweh, for he has raised up out of his holy habitation. Chapter 3. And he showed me Yahushua, the high priest, standing before the angel of Yahweh, and Hashatan standing at his right hand to resist him. And Yahweh said to Hashatan, Yahweh rebukes you, O Hashatan, even Yahweh, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebukes you. Is this not a brand plucked out of the fire? Now Yahushua was clothed with filthy garments, and stood before the angel. And he answered and spoke to those who stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garments from him. Then he said to him, Behold, I have caused your indignity to pass from you, and I will clothe you with a change of raiment. And I said, Let them set a fair turban upon his head. Therefore they set a fair turban upon his head, and clothed him with garments. And the angel of Yahweh stood by. Furthermore, the angel of Yahweh protested to Yahushua, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, If you will walk in my ways, and if you will keep my charge, then you will also judge my house, and will also keep my courts, and I will give you places to walk among those who stand by. Hear now, O Yahushua the high priest, you and your fellows who sit before you, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant the branch. For behold, the stone that I have laid before Yahushua, upon one stone will be 7 eyes. Behold, I will engrave its engraving, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. During that day you will call every man his neighbor under the vine and under the fig tree, saith Yahweh of hosts. Chapter 4. And the angel who talked with me came again and awakened me, like a man who is awakened out of a sleep. And he asked me, What do you see? And I answered, I looked and saw a menorah, all gold, with a bowl over the top of it, and his 7 lamps on it. And 7 pipes went to the 7 lamps which were upon the top of it. And 2 olive trees were by it. One was on the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side of it. And the other was upon the left side of it. So I answered and spoke to the angel who talked with me, saying, What are these, my Lord? Then the angel who talked with me answered and said to me, Do you not know what these are? And I said, No, Adonai. Then he answered and spoke to me, saying, This is the word of Yahweh to Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but by my Ruach, saith Yahweh of hosts. Who are you, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel you will become a plain, and he will bring out its headstone with shouts, crying, Grace, grace to it. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundations of this house. Also his hands will finish it. And you will know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me to you. For who has despised the day of small things? For they will rejoice, and will see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the eyes of Yahweh, which run to and fro through the entire earth, through the whole earth. Then I responded and asked him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the menorah and upon its left? Again I responded and asked him, What are these 2 olive branches by which the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? Therefore he answered me and said, Do you not know what these are? And I said, No, Adonai. Then he answered, These are the 2 anointed children who stand by the Adon of the whole earth. Chapter 5. Then I turned and lifted my eyes and looked and saw a flying scroll. And he asked me, What do you see? And I answered, I see a flying scroll. Its length is 20 cubits, and its width is 10 cubits. Then he said to me, This is the oath that goes forth over the face of the whole earth, for everyone who steals will be cleansed by it. Also, everyone who swears will be cleansed by it. I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it will enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him who swears falsely by my name, and it will enter into the midst of his house, and will consume it with its timber and its stones. Then the angel who talked with me went forth and said to me, Now lift up your eyes and see what is this that goes forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goes forth. Moreover, he said, This is symbolic with the entire earth. And behold, a lead cover of a talent was lifted, and there was a woman sitting in the midst of the ephah. And he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah. Then he cast the lead weight upon its mouth. Furthermore, I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, 2 women came there, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heavens. Then I said to the angel who talked with me, Where are they carrying the ephah? And he said to me, To build it a house in the land of Shinar, and it will be established, and there set upon her own base. Chapter 6. Then I turned and lifted my eyes and looked, and saw 4 chariots come there from between the 2 mountains, and the mountains were copper mountains. Red horses were with the first chariot, and black horses were with the second chariot, and white horses were with the third chariot, and speckled horses were with the 4th chariot. All of them were powerful. Then I responded and asked the angel who talked with me, What are these, Adonai? Therefore the angel answered and said to me, These are the 4 spirits of the heavens, which go forth from standing before the Adon of all the earth. The black horses that are among them go forth into the northern country, and the white go forth after them, and the speckled go forth toward the southern country. Therefore the powerful horses went forth, and sought to go so that they might walk to and fro throughout the earth. Then he said, Go from here, walk to and fro throughout the earth. Therefore they walked to and fro throughout the earth. Then he cried upon me, and spoke to me, saying, Behold, those that went toward the northern country have quieted my spirit in the northern country. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Take those from the captives, even to Heldai, of Thubiah, and of Yadayah, who have come from Babel. Also you will come that same day, and go into the house of Yashiah, the son of Zebaniah. Then take silver and gold, and make crowns, and set them upon the head of Yehoshua, the son of Jehuzedek, the high priest. And speak to him, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, saying, Behold, the man whose name is the branch, and he will grow up out of this place, and he will build the temple of Yahweh. Also he will build the temple of Yahweh, and he will bear the glory, and he will sit and rule upon its throne, and he will be a priest upon his throne, and the counsel of peace will be between them both. And the crowns will be to Helem, and to Thubiah, and to Yadayah, and to Hen the son of Zebaniah, for a memorial in the temple of Yahweh. And those who are afar off will come and build in the temple of Yahweh, and you will know that Yahweh of hosts has sent me to you. And this will come to pass if you will diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. Chapter 7. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Darius that the word of Yahweh came to Zechariah in the 4th of the 9th month, even to Kisleu, when they had sent to the house of Al, when they had sent Sherezer and Regemelech and their men to the house of Al to pray before Yahweh, and to speak to the priests who were in the house of Yahweh of hosts, and to the prophets, saying, Should I weep in the 5th month, separating myself, like I have done these many years? Then the word of Yahweh of hosts came to me, saying, Speak to all the people from the land, and to the priests, saying, When you fasted and mourned in the 5th and 7th month, these 70 years, did you fast for me at all? And when you ate and when you drank, did you not eat for yourselves and drink for yourselves? Should you not hear the words which Yahweh has cried by the former prophets? When Jerusalem was inhabited and in prosperity, and its cities were around her, when men inhabited the south and the plain? Then the word of Yahweh came to Zechariah, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, saying, Execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion every man to his brother. And do not oppress the widow, nor the fatherless, the immigrant, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. But they refused to hearken, and pulled away the shoulder, and stopped their ears, so that they will not hear. So they made their heart like an adamant stone, lest they would hear the teaching, and the words which Yahweh of hosts has sent in his spirit by the former prophets. Therefore a great wrath came from Yahweh of hosts. Moreover, it came to pass that as he cried, and they would not hear, so too they have cried, and I would not hear, saith Yahweh of hosts. But I scattered them with a whirlwind among all the nations that they did not know. Therefore the land was desolate after them, so that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land desolate. Chapter 8. Again the word of Yahweh of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. Thus saith Yahweh, I have returned to Zion, and will dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem will be called a city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, old men and old women will dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for his great age. Also, the city streets will be full of boys and girls playing in streets. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, if it is marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of these people in those days, it will also be marvelous in my eyes, saith Yahweh of hosts. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country. I will bring them, and they will dwell in the middle of Jerusalem, and they will be my people, and I will be their Elohim in truth and in righteousness. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, during these days let your hands be strong. You will hear these words by the mouth of the prophets, who were during the day that the foundation of the house of Yahweh of hosts was laid, so that the temple might be built. For before these days no man was hired, nor was there any peace for him who went out and came in because of the affliction. For I set all Adam, everyone, against his neighbor. But now I will not be to the remnant of these people like during the former days, saith Yahweh of hosts. For the seed will be prosperous, the vine will give her fruit, and the ground will give her increase, and the heavens will give their due, and I will cause the remnant of these people to possess all these things. And it will come to pass that as you were a curse among the nations, O house of Yehudah and house of Yeshariel, so too I will save you, and you will be a blessing. Do not fear, but let your hands be strong. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, just as I thought to punish you when your fathers provoked me to wrath, and I did not repent, so too in these days I have thought to do well to Jerusalem and to the house of Yehudah. Do not fear, saith Yahweh of hosts. These are the things that you will do. Each man will speak the truth to his neighbor. Execute the judgment of truth and peace in your gates, and let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor. And do not love a false oath. For all these are things that I hate, saith Yahweh. And the word of Yahweh of hosts came to me, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the fast of the 4th month, and the fast of the 5th, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th will have joy and gladness, and cheerful feasts for the house of Yehudah. Therefore love the truth and peace. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, it will yet come to pass that people will come there, also the inhabitants of many cities, and the inhabitants of one city will go to another, saying, Let us go quickly to pray before Yahweh, and to seek Yahweh of hosts. Also I will go. Yes, many people and strong nations will come to seek Yahweh of hosts in Jerusalem, and to pray before Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, in those days it will come to pass that 10 mortals of all languages of the nations will take hold of the hem of a Yehudi man, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you. Chapter 9. The burden of the word of Yahweh in the land of Hadrach and Demeshach from his resting place. For the eyes of Adam, like all the tribes of Yeshariel, are upon Yahweh. So too Hamat, which borders nearby, also Sur and Sidon, for they are very wise. And Sur will build herself a stronghold, and heap up silver like dust, and fine gold like the mud of the streets. Behold, Adonai will cast her out, and he will strike her power in the sea, and she will be devoured with fire. Ashkelon will see it, and fear. Also Azza and Akrun will see it, and be very sorrowful, for her expectation will be ashamed. And the king will perish from Azza, and Ashkelon will not be inhabited, and a bastard will deal in Ashdod. Then I will cut off the pride of the Pelishtim, and I will take away his blood out of his mouth, and his abominations from between his feet. But he who remains, even he will be for our Elohim. And he will be like a governor in Yehuda, and Akrun like a Yebusi. And I will encamp around my house because of the army, because of him who passes by, and because of him who returns. And no oppressor will pass through them any more. For now I have seen with my eyes. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Yerushalayim. Behold, your king comes to you, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. He is just and has salvation. And I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim, and the horse from Yerushalayim, and the battle bow will be cut off, and he will speak peace to the nations, and his dominion will be from sea even to sea, and from the river even to the ends of the earth. Also, as for you, by the blood of your covenant, I have sent forth your prisoners out of the pit in which was no water. Return to the stronghold, you faithful prisoners. Even today I declare that I will repay double to you. When I bend Yehuda like I bend my bow, I will fill him with Ephraim, and raise up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Yahuan, and make you like the sword of a warrior. Also Yehuah will be seen over them, and his arrows will go forth like lightning. And Yehuah Elohim will blow the trumpet, and will go with whirlwinds of the south. Yehuah of hosts will defend them, and they will devour and subdue with sling stones, and they will drink and make a ruckus as if wine, and they will be filled like bowls, and like the corners of the altar. And Yehuah their Elohim will save them during that day, like the people of his flock. For they will be like the stones of a crown, lifted up like a sign upon his Adamah. For how great is his goodliness, and how great is his beauty! Grain will make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maids. Chapter 10. Ask of Yehuah for rain during the latter rain. Therefore Yehuah will make bright clouds, and give them showers of rain. Grass will be in the field for everyone. For the Terupim have spoken vanity, and the enchanters have seen a lie, and have told false dreams. They comfort in vain. Therefore they went their way like the flock. They were troubled because there was no shepherd. My anger was kindled against the shepherds, and I punished the goats. For Yehuah of hosts has visited his flock, the house of Yehuda, and has made them like his majestic horse during the battle. From Yehuda the cornerstone will come forth, from him the tent peg, from him the battle bow, from him all who will unite, and they will be as mighty men, who tread down their enemies in the muddy streets during the battle, and they will fight because Yehuah is with them. Also the riders on horses will be confounded. And I will strengthen the house of Yehuda, and I will save the house of Yusuf, and I will bring them to their place again, for I will have mercy upon them, and they will be as though I had not cast them off. For I am Yehuah their Elohim, and will hear them. And those of Ephraim will be like a mighty man, and their heart will rejoice as if wine. Indeed, their children will see it and be glad. Their heart will rejoice in Yehuah. I will whistle for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they will increase like they have increased. And I will sow them among the people, and they will remember me in far countries, and they will live with their children and turn again. Also I will bring them again from the land of Mitzrayim, and gather them out of Ashur. And I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, and I will bring until none of them are found any more. And he will pass through the sea of affliction, and will strike the waves in the sea, and all the depths of the river will dry up, and the pride of Ashur will be brought down, and the scepter of Mitzrayim will depart away. And I will strengthen them in Yehovah, and they will walk up and down in his name, saith Yehovah. Chapter 11. Open your doors, O Lebanon, so that the fire may devour your cedars. Howl, fir tree, for the cedar has fallen, because the mighty are plundered. Howl, O you oaks of Bashan, for the ancient forest has come down. There is a voice of the howling of the shepherds, for their glory is plundered. The voice of the roaring of young lions, for the pride of Yarden is plundered. Thus saith Yehovah, my Elohim. Feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. Also those who sell them will say, Blessed is Yehovah, for I am rich, and their own shepherds do not pity them. For I will not pity the inhabitants from the land any longer, saith Yehovah. But lo, I will deliver the Adam, everyone, into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king, and they will strike the land. And I will not deliver them out of their hand. Therefore I feed the flock for the slaughter, even you, O humble of the flock. Moreover, I took 2 staves for myself, and I called one Beauty, and I called the other Cords, and I fed the flock. Then, in 1 month, I cut off 3 shepherds, and my soul loathed them. Also, their soul detested me. Then I said, I will not feed you. Whatever dies, let it die. And whatever is cut off, let it be cut off. And let the rest eat the flesh of each other. Therefore I took my staff, even Beauty, and cut it asunder, so that I would break my covenant which I had made with all my people. Therefore it was broken during that day. Moreover, the humble of the flock who waited upon me knew that it was the word of Yehovah. And I said to them, If you think good, give me my price, and if not, forbear. So they weighed 30 pieces of silver for my price. Then Yehovah said to them, Cast it to the potter, this great price in which they value me. So I took the 30 pieces of silver and cast them to the potter in the house of Yehovah. Then I cut asunder my other staff, even the cords, so that I might break the brotherhood between Yehuda and Yeshariel. Then Yehovah said to me, Take the instruments of a foolish shepherd for yourself again. For behold, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, who will not visit those who are cut off, nor seek the young one, nor heal those who are broken, nor feed those who stand still, but he will eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their hooves in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd who leaves the flock. The sword will be upon his arm, and upon his right eye. His arm will wither, and his right eye will become completely blind. Chapter 12. The burden of the word of Yehovah for Yeshariel, saith Yehovah, who stretches out the heavens, and lays the foundation of the earth, and forms the spirit of Adam within him. Behold, I will make Yerushalayim a cup of trembling to all the people around about, when they are in the siege, both against Yehuda and against Yerushalayim. And during that day I will make Yerushalayim a burdensome stone for all people. All who burden themselves with it will be cut in pieces, even if all the people of the earth are gathered together against it. During that day, saith Yehovah, I will strike every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open my eyes upon the house of Yehuda, and will strike every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Yehuda will say in their heart, The inhabitants of Yerushalayim will be my strength in Yehovah of hosts, their Elohim. And the governors of Yehuda will say in their heart, The inhabitants of Yerushalayim are strong with Yehovah of hosts, their Elohim. During that day, I will make the governors of Yehuda like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in the sheath, and they will devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Yerushalayim will be inhabited again in her own place. Also, Yehu will save the tents of Yehuda first, so that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Yerushalayim do not magnify themselves against Yehuda. During that day, Yehu will defend the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, and during that day, he who is the most feeble among them will be like David, and the house of David will be like Elohim, like an angel of Yehu before them. And during that day, he who is the most feeble among them will be like David, and the house of David will be like Elohim, like an angel of Yehu before them. And during that day it will come that I will seek to destroy all the nations who come against Yerushalayim, and I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Yerushalayim the ruach of grace and of supplications. And they will look upon me, whom they have pierced, and they will mourn for him, like someone mourns for his only son, and will be in bitterness for him, like someone who is bitter for his firstborn. During that day there will be a great mourning in Yerushalayim, like the mourning of Hadad Rimun in the valley of Megiddo. And the land will mourn, each family separately, the family of the house of David separately, and their wives separately, the family of the house of Natan separately, and their wives separately, and the family of the house of Lehi separately, and their wives separately, and the family of the house of Shimei separately, and their wives separately. All the families who remain, every family separately, and their wives separately. Chapter 13. During that day a fountain will open for the house of David and for the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, for sin and for uncleanliness. And during that day it will come to pass, saith Yehu of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they will not be remembered any more. And I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. And it will come to pass that if anyone still prophesies, then the father and mother who begot him will say to him, You will not live, for you speak lies in the name of Yehu. Also the father and mother who begot him will thrust him through when he prophesies. And during that day it will come to pass that every prophet will be ashamed of his vision when he has a prophecy. And to deceive, he will not wear a coarse mantle. Instead, he will say, I am not a prophet, I am a husbandman, for Adam taught me to keep livestock since my youth. And one will say to him, What are these wounds in your hands? Then he will answer, Those are wounds from the house of my lover. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith Yehu of hosts. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones. And it will come to pass that in all the land, saith Yehu, 2 parts in it will be cut off and die, but the 3rd part will be left in it. And I will bring the 3rd part through the fire, and will refine them like silver is refined, and will test them like gold is tested. They will call upon my name, and I will hear them. I will say, They are my people, and they will say, Yehu is my Elohim. Chapter 14. Behold, the day of Yehu comes, and your plunder will be divided in the midst of you. For I will gather all nations against Yerushalayim to battle, and the city will be taken, and houses raffled, and the women ravished. and half of the city will go into captivity. But the remnant of the people will not be cut off from the city. Then Yahuwah will go forth and fight against those nations, like when he fights in the day of battle. And his feet will stand during that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Yerushalayim on the east. And the Mount of Olives will cleave to the midst of it toward the east and toward the west, and there will be a very great valley. And half of the mountain will move toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And you will flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains will reach to Azul. Indeed, you will flee, like you fled from the earthquake during the days of Uzziah, king of Yehudah. Furthermore, Yahuwah, my Elohim, will come, and all the saints with you. And it will come to pass during that day that the light will not be clear nor dark, but it will be a day that will only be known unto Yahuwah. It will not be day nor night. However, it will come to pass that at evening there will be light. During that day it will come to pass that living waters will go out from Yerushalayim, half of them toward the previous sea, and half of them toward the following sea. It will be in summer and in winter. And Yahuwah will be king over all the earth during that day. Yahuwah will be one, and his name will be one. And all the land will be turned like a plain from Geba to Rimun, south of Yerushalayim. And it will be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from the gate of Binyamin to the place of the first gate, to the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananel to the king's winepresses. And men will dwell in it, and there will not be any more destruction, but Yerushalayim will be safely inhabited. And this will be the plague by which Yahuwah will strike all the people who have fought against Yerushalayim. Their flesh will be consumed away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes will be consumed away in their holes, and their tongue will be consumed away from their mouth. And during that day it will come to pass that a great ruckus from Yahuwah will be among them, and everyone will lay hold upon the hand of his neighbor, and his hand will rise up against the hand of his neighbor. Also, Yehudah will fight at Yerushalayim, and the wealth of all the nations round about will be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. And so too will be the plague of the horse, mule, camel, and ass, and beasts that are in these tents, as this plague. And it will come to pass that everyone who is left of all the nations that came against Yerushalayim will even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it will be that whoever will not come up from all the families of the earth to Yerushalayim to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, even upon them will be no rain. And if the family of Mitzrayim does not go up, and not come, so that they have no rain, there will be the plague, by which Yahuwah will strike the nations that do not come up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This will be the punishment of Mitzrayim, and the punishment of all nations that does not come up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. During that day there will be bells upon the horses, holiness unto Yahuwah. And the pots of Yahuwah's house will be like the bowls before the altar. Yes, every pot in Yerushalayim and in Yehudah will be holy unto Yahuwah of hosts. And all those who sacrifice will come and take of them, and seethe in it. And during that day there will not be any more Canaani in the house of Yahuwah of hosts. The end. Thank you for listening to my interpretation of Zechariah. I hope that you find my Bible series, Choreb Beruach, Sword of the Spirit, enlightening. The word of Yahuwah is a treasure trove of mysteries. It's amazing what you'll discover when you read it with your eyes open.